I am told, Stugotz, that we've got good sound from Mad Dog Russo. I have not heard it. We will get to it in a second, but I did want to circle back on the Jason Kelsey conversation we were having earlier and Jessica's contention that everyone listening to this has a sexy you somewhere inside you. I don't believe I do. I have never met whatever it is that you're describing. I have never in my life felt sexy.
Not even when you're barefoot on the pool table? At the F1 race?
Come on.
Chris.
You didn't become a most eligible bachelor not tapping into the sexy you.
On the pool table, you felt sexy.
I don't believe you. Your wife is hot. Shut up.
Yeah.
My wife is hot. It doesn't mean that I feel sexy. She can attempt to try and make me feel sexy. It is largely unsuccessful.
Your money is sexy, though.
I am, well, to you. To you more than her. To you more than anybody.
She just hasn't told you yet.
What are you doing?
She just loves my money. And it would be the second relationship that I have most fraudulent over money.
I love you, man.
That would be the first.
I'd have sex with you. I mean, I would. Without the money.
The thing that I am asking the group here, because the rest of you like to laugh at me, I don't see a group here. And I'm looking at you boys who ever feel sexy. So you tell me.
In my life, you're saying?
You tell me, Chris Cody, Billy Gill, Stugotz, how often you feel sexy.
See, like, I would say there are times where you put something on and you're like, I feel good. You look in the mirror and you feel good. I'm not saying that I'm sexy, but there are times, it's rare nowadays, where you like really feel yourself before you go out, like on a night. You know, you got a nice outfit on, good shoes.
Billy, that's not even the same as sexy.
No,
Handsome.
I gave up. I'm married. Yeah. I don't care anymore. Yeah. Look at me. I'm like 8 years downhill.
You don't often feel sexy.
No. Should I?
Have you ever?
No.
Look
at me.
Not even running with a humongous pole vault in your hand. You were never like, wow, I'm so hot right now.
I actually look back at pictures. I'm like, you know what? I wasn't a bad looking guy.
Yeah,
now I'm just
the race
gross
with a mean. That one photo.
That was a good picture. Yeah, God, if I could have that person take pictures of me for my funeral, not like of my dead body, that'd be weird.
Stugotz, how often
I don't know what I meant by that.
Do you feel sexy?
How often do I feel sexy? It's been since '92. Sophomore season, lacrosse, top 10 in the country in scoring. I felt sexy. I wasn't sexy, but I felt sexy for a minute.
But you shouldn't feel bad, Dan. Like, there comes a relief with realizing I peaked and I'm on the downturn, you know?
I don't feel bad. I'm just pointing out to you that I disagree with Jessica when she says that everyone listening to this can summon the sexy inside them. I'm like, nah, not so much.
Well, I think she's saying that it exists in everyone.
And I'm saying it doesn't.
No, but I think it exists in all of us, but we, to your point, we haven't found it. Yeah. Like, Billy hasn't found that sexy. Well, I also have hope that I can one day return to kind of like, I'm giving myself till 40. I'm like, you know what, if I try, maybe by 40 I can get back in shape. Right? But then the diet always starts tomorrow.
Keep telling yourself
that.
Yeah,
that's the
thing.
Mike Ryan, though, objected to everything that was being said. Mike Ryan perpetually feels sexy, evidently.
Also very ugly, apparently.
That's it?
We said everything that needed to be said.
Let's get to the Mad Dog sound here. What is this about? Has anyone here heard this sound? Chris Cody, what's it about?
This is him. Baseball teams going towards analytical managers. And he said, back in my day, you went from the gut. You got a manager that managed with his gut. So he doesn't like analytics, so he's ranting about it.
Who GM this year? Who's the best GM in baseball this year? Chris Young. Did he go to, he went to Princeton. He is an ex-player. He knows what he's doing. Who did Chris Young hire? Bruce Bochy. How does he manage? By the gut. Who's going to the Hall of Fame? Carlos Mendoza or Bruce Bochy? Who's the top 5 managers in the history of the sport? Bruce Bochy, who was unemployed for 3 years. Because the statistical guiding geeks out there who run these teams don't know what they're doing, picking managers.
Chris Russo.
With your gut.
Sexy.
No
he
doubt.
manages with his gut.
How old is Chris Russo? Because that is holding up well for his age.
Huh.
I think he's your guys' age.
He's 41.
He is not our age. I think Chris Russo is a good bit.
60-something.
I would say
64.
He's in his 60s, yeah.
No,
I mean,
he looks great.
He does look great. Like Mike Golick, he was not sexy as a football player. Mike Golick is sexy now. He's a good-looking guy. Dan, there's still hope for you, man. I'm telling you.
You too, Stugotz. Like you're in some different boat than me. I don't know what you've been looking at.
Yeah, but listen, I've resigned myself to the fact that I'm not sexy. It seems to be bothering you.
He's given up hope is what he's telling you. He doesn't care about – he doesn't have any hope of being sexy
But,
again.
Dan, you are beautiful on the inside. You are.
Yeah, what about this Speedo picture? You didn't feel sexy in your little Speedo?
No, God, no.
At your 60th birthday?
Let's go back for a second to what Chris Russo is saying, though, because I'd like to understand
right.
this as, you think he's right. And we've actually gotten in baseball to an era where Brian Cashman has to deny that he's informed. Like, this is where we are. Analytics is the new woke in sports. Like, it's been taken as something that was good, and you take it. So a snowflake should by itself be
delightful.
Pretty benign.
Unique.
Pretty neutral. But we've turned snowflake into something else, woke something else, and analytics is now something to be avoided. People want to be allergic to information. And it's puzzling to me.
With your gut.
It's super puzzling to me that we would be this aggressively anti-information, which by itself, information, neutral to positive, more information, neutral to positive, but nope. You inform me more. Now I'm going to judge you as a dork, as a nerd, as somebody in sports who shouldn't be running things because you care too much about information.
It really just needs better branding. I think we've been saying it for years. Just let's officially just start calling it Manalytics. You're a very strong, brave little boy if you go for it on 4th down, if you take the 2-point conversion, if you're going for it in your own territory. Now you're just being a man. This is Manalytics.
That's as good an explanation as any. There is a movement across this country and across the world, really, to be against expertise, to be aggressively against expertise. But this one here, people have been fighting this. Stugotz, the reason to me it's so interesting in baseball is because I saw how Michael Lewis's Moneyball was received when it arrived, and then everyone took it, and everyone now uses it, and the teams with money have erased the advantages that the teams that didn't have money had because everyone's using it now. So much so that the guy who runs one of the teams that spends the most is contentious with reporters because he doesn't want to be known as somebody who is led by numbers in a sport where I see, Stugotz, the infielders are reaching into their back pocket and they're all cheating. This guy hits it 4 feet to my left every time.
Got to move over.
They're pulling out. Right. They're pulling out papers out of pockets to look at where they're supposed to be standing on the field. Next thing you know, line drive over second base. Been a hit all my life. Now it's always an out. Always an out. They've hit it right at the guy. And they're all using it, and it's wildly confusing to me that we would be aggressively anti-smart. Like, it's not even like you're just sitting it out or neutral. You have to defend yourself against, I'm someone who tries to be informed.
It's a source of shame now. Everyone's using it except for Bochy, and he's won 4 World Series rings. I mean,
the gut.
Yep.
Do you guys not find it puzzling? Just what is sweeping as a virus across people who want access to their own information, the correct information that supports what they already believe, not new information, not expertise. I don't understand why in sports, why it is that we would be this aggressively against being informed when all of you listening to this who are in your fantasy leagues, you all seek out expertise on your fantasy teams, even though this stuff can be hard to predict. But there is expertise out there that can make you better at this stuff than you are just guessing.
But, Dan, the numbers can only tell you so much. It can't tell you what's on the inside. It can't. It can't measure a person's heart.
What does that mean?
What do you
He's right,
mean?
though. Yeah. Well, with managers specifically, it's a lot of like what David talked about, managing people. You can't get all that with numbers.
It can't tell you who's going to work hard when they need to work hard. It can't tell you who's going to settle for just being very good when they could be great.
can't
Who
get-
has the fire in their eyes,
Right.
Dan?
It can't guarantee it, and it can't make it absolute, but it can increase the probabilities, which is all of what they're doing. They're just trying to increase probabilities on winning. It's not that it's going to make it guaranteed. Nothing does that.
Well, I mean, there's evil on both sides, right? And I think that that's what some people rail against is like you can't manage or, call a game dictated strictly on the numbers. If you kind of see a situation where you're like, this hasn't been working all day, let me stick with the hot hand and
How do
this
you play
quarterback or
blackjack?
whatever.
How do you play blackjack?
Oh, I don't. You think I'm going to risk money? Get out of here.
I play it always the same.
That's boring.
You don't ever feel it like this 16, you know what? I usually hit. Going to stay this
You
time.
never feel sexy?
I never feel sexy playing blackjack. Valerie sees me as sexy when I have a lot of chips, though.
What flavor?
Do you guys understand what I'm saying about playing probabilities? That's all that we're doing? Like Stugotz wants absolutes and guarantees when all of the projections of everybody predicting everything can be wrong. Like there's a margin for error on all of it. None of it is going to predict it successfully, but in all circumstances, when I'm playing a game, if you tell me I've got a 54% chance here instead of a 46% chance, I'm always going to select 54%, and I'm going to be wrong 46% of the time. But if the winning's in the margins, if it's salary cap sport, if every week you're watching something that's decided by an inch, the difference between the Cowboys and the Eagles today is nothing.
An inch.
But I want the coach playing probabilities there. I'm guessing Mike McDaniel is playing probabilities. He may lose, but I'm going to go ahead and trust the coach that's good with the math on doing things that are more likely to result in success, even though they very often won't result in success.
So what do you do with this? Brandon Staley always plays the math, always goes for it on fourth down, and Austin Eckler has told me and Billy on God Bless Football, yeah, once in a while, just punt, please. Please, just punt once in a while. What do you do with that?
I don't know why you have to push everything out to the extremes. They're all data points, including the gut feeling stuff, to help you make an informed decision. Analytics is great, but you can have a feel watching the game, and certainly a manager can have a feel watching a game that, my pitcher doesn't have it today. And that's incumbent upon him to know by spending time around all these guys. Same thing with a fourth quarter decision. Yeah, I know what the numbers usually say, but their sons have been giving us real problems. And I don't have numbers to account for how our offense is playing today and how my quarterback's confidence is shaken. And that's what you trust a head coach or manager to decipher.
Which is why Connor Stalions should be viewed as a hero, because he was giving Michigan 100% certainty of what call was being played by the other team. It's just advanced analytics.
Do you guys have any more Connor Stalions news updates for me?
He's the best, Dan. He's a hero. Can we hire him to do something?
What do you think he would do?
Social
for us?
media for the day or something?
I'm going to put him on YouTube subscriptions.
Meadowlark Manifesto. That probably already exists on Reddit.
Dan,
or
he
something.
fixed vacuums and sold them, sometimes with hair inside.
He didn't fix them. He sold broken vacuums to people. And then his business
Like
got
new
shut
vacuums.
down and said it was because Michigan State fans are out to get him.
That's
And
way
he's
too many
right.
vacuums, by the way, on his porch.
Way too many.
The best number of vacuums on his porch. Dan, look at this picture.
I do not blame a neighbor for being concerned at all. By
I'm with
looking
you.
at
That's what the 11th floor of this parking garage looks like, to be fair.
By looking, yeah, but this
You've
place is
been to
under
11?
construction.
You
Mike,
have to. They
Mike,
blocked off 12 floors here.
Are you saying you call the cops?
You definitely.
What level of concern?
You do a wellness check on.
Looks like you just
this
snagged a good
house.
deal.
On this house.
I'm shocked he wasn't at the vacuum convention and the How To with John Wilson. I just blanked out on
Well
that.
said.
He went to a vacuum convention with all these vacuum fanatics, and they had the world's largest vacuum there. And I actually want to go back and check the tape and see if Connor Stalions was in the back.
The only thing missing from that photo of his front porch is a local news team at the site of a tragedy. That is a scary looking house.
How many vacuum cleaners are there?
1,000.
What is the backstory beyond
It's Michigan State's fault.
behind why it is that there are so many vacuum
He had an
cleaners there?
Amazon store where he was selling new vacuums. Looks like
Side
over 30.
hustle.
Like new.
He had a 2-star rating.
We have reviews if you want them when we come back.
Please. What do you mean if I want them? I want to know. Yes, coming up next. Reviews of Connor Stalions' vacuum cleaner business. We haven't done better than that. Meadowlark Media cannot do better than that. I think we have now found ourselves, Stugotz, in a place when we can shame the Philadelphia underwear wearer on the sidelines, because I believe after closer inspection, we have deduced that the underwear are inside out. And if they're inside out, that seems like we can make some hygiene judgments. If the tag is on the outside, because it's not a thong, it's not G-string, but it's underwear inside out, which I think we can judge more than any of the other things that we were talking about here. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at LeBatardShow. Can you judge someone as lacking hygiene if they're wearing their underwear inside out in an emergency situation?
I don't know who made this assessment. It's very clearly this PSD's company just has their tags printed on the strap like this.
Underwear don't have tags the way that you're used to. Maybe your underwear do.
Yeah, your
The tags are on the inside.
To have skin-tight underwear like that and then all of a sudden a very uncomfy conventional tag makes no sense.
My guess would be this is their Christmas tree variety underwear. Yeah, which is a Christmas tree and $100 bills, obviously.
In November?
Yeah, well, 'tis the season.
Let's shame him for that.
The day after Halloween, Christmas season begins now, friends. I hate to break it to you.
The other thing during the break that Stugotz was doing, Chris Cody, is laughing at your father being such a look-at-me umpire that as a child you would strike out, feel shame, and what you would hear echoing in your head is your dad doing the strike call of hee-haw 3 because he wanted everybody to notice him at the time of your shame. He that he would capitalize on your shame to do the umpire call.
Hee-haw 3!
He's always been the same.
Right. But he should be consoling you. Like, keep your eye on the ball, stuff like that. It'd be like me heckling Rachel at a lacrosse game. I mean,
So you teach? You never did that?
No.
Hee-haw 3!
That is the opposite of support. Your son has struck out on the street. He's ashamed because it's a called third strike. He doesn't do this on swinging third strikes. So basically, he's informing you you're a failure this way.
Hee-haw 3!
I never looked at it like this. Thank you guys for making this worse for me.
It explains so much.
The last thing you want when you strike out is your dad rubbing it in. I mean,
Hee-haw 3!
It explains how he becomes an adult who still expects you on Father's Day to make Father's Day about him, even though you're a father.
Hee-haw 3!
Everything needs to be about him. It also explains why you might lack some confidence in some places.
Hee-haw
Whoa.
Just in some places.
that's deep.
We all have our scars. I know my father left some scars.
Hee-haw 3!
Just not that one. That's not the scar he left.
3!
Billy,
But
did you find comments worthy of air? Did you pass along the comments about our vacuum cleaner salesman?
Connor Stalions.
Connor Stalions.
Favorite. I know.
Let's just making sure.
No, but it's the vacuum cleaner part of the story that we've now moved on to. He has 100 vacuum cleaners on the porch of his house because he was selling vacuums, and now there is commentary. Does he have a lot of reviews?
So Connor Stalions, apparently Lucy found that he had an Amazon store, and in said Amazon store, as any Amazon thing, you can leave reviews for if you're satisfied, dissatisfied with the product, with the service that you've paid for and received.
They were all bad. No happy reviews
Bunch
here.
of Ohio State fans.
This one says, this is the second vacuum cleaner sent out. The first was full of plaster dust in the motor as well as the collector bin. I'm very disappointed with this vendor for their customer service and their poor product condition. They say good or excellent, and it's terrible in reality.
Connor Stalions and the center of this espionage scandal that Colin Cowherd has said is driving 88 miles an hour instead of 71. So you have this faction of people who are saying that whatever the crime is, it's jaywalking. It's not that big a crime. And then you have the entire conference and coaches saying this is the most ridiculous of crimes and there needs to be a severe penalty.
But it keeps getting weirder and weirder. So yesterday it surfaced on Twitter that Blake Corum, the Michigan running back, has an LLC that Connor Stalions is listed as being the partner of. What? And then Blake Corum was like, I don't know anything about this. I don't know how he ended up there. My attorneys are handling it. Stuff's going on. This man might be the most powerful person in Michigan.
Then there was an Instagram post with him in front of a car, and the hashtag was like BCLLC or something. The ugliest car I've ever seen, by the way. That's just me taking a shot at the car.
Car could be sexy.
It's also not a name.
Not that one.
It's also not a name like Dan Smith that you could, okay, I'm flipping through papers. There's a Dan Smith associated with my LLC. I didn't catch that. Connor Stalions.
Oh, he stands out, yes.
Do you have another review there? What is the most positive review that we're going to find? Because it sounds like he was a very terrible vacuum cleaner salesman.
This one says, this was supposed to be completely refurbished and like new. It arrived with dirt and hair in the canister, rotating floor brush, hose, and tools. There are numerous scratches on the unit, and it smells terrible.
That sounds when you keep your inventory out front.
Yeah, that's the most positive one. He was not a good vacuum salesman. He was too busy writing that Michigan manifesto. He had bigger things to worry about.
Reading another one here. There was an actual cat inside this vacuum cleaner.
Their team might be the best Michigan team we've seen in our lifetime, correct?
We don't know yet.
They haven't played anybody, but
Right.
they are crushing everybody.
They're very good.
And the other day when I said to Lucy, I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised if Ohio State beat Michigan. I'm certainly used to seeing Ohio State beating Michigan. And Lucy's like, absolutely not. I'd be surprised if Ohio State beat Michigan this year.
I know Michigan hasn't played anybody this season, but last year they beat Ohio State. They almost beat TCU. They were a very good team last year, and they've only gotten stronger. They didn't really lose anybody. They got a lot of people back. This is a very, very good Michigan team, whether they're stealing signs or not. And we'll see that. They play Penn State this weekend. Not that it really matters. It's a James Franklin big game, but whatever.
It's also, I think, a testament to Ohio State not being as dominant, especially offensively, other than Marvin Harrison Jr., who's very, very good.
Hold up. It is not easy to beat Iowa 42-3. That is a really tough thing to do that they have done. Really tough.
The other thing, though, speaking to Colin Cowherd's comments and the general comments, because I said the other day that it's probably a competitive advantage, but it's hard to say how big of a competitive advantage, which is true. But there's no reason that Michigan would devote this much time and energy to scouting out games ahead of time if it wasn't offering them something. This was an entire scouting operation going back years where they're spending tens of thousands of dollars on the budget for this guy to go to games and to hire people to go to games for him. So it's not something that I think you can just brush off as it's nothing.
And now Michigan has taken the approach of being well, look at everyone else who's done it. So Purdue, Rutgers, and Ohio State apparently had shared Michigan signs between them. So now we have that aspect of it. How great is it that Rutgers is involved? That Rutgers was doing the cheating.
Can I just point out, though, because I've said before, right, in other sports somehow we figure out how the cheating is an advantage, and we can do in cycling or baseball, we could be okay, clearly that's something that provided an advantage, even as we argued about steroids. But many years ago, in a World Series game, Andy Pettitte was tipping his pitches, and the Diamondbacks scored a bunch of runs early because it was obvious that they knew what it is that was coming. And one of the best postseason pitchers ever ends up going under because of that. Mike Ryan has pointed out a couple of times now, you saw how that TCU-Michigan game started. And TCU knew what Michigan was doing with the Stein stealing. And there's an example for you of what can happen when you know what's coming. The start of that game when Michigan thought they were getting over on TCU, and TCU was like, no, we know what you're doing. And then all of a sudden TCU, that was the moment all of us were like, oh, TCU's actually not a fraud this year. That was when it happened. And so don't tell me that doesn't have a result that I can see when that's the way that game started, TCU running up and down the field because they knew what Michigan was doing.
Yeah, we've mentioned it a couple times. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence that would give this credence, and us not knowing the lengths of the investigation doesn't help us, but we just know when this started is around the time Michigan got good. Their worst year was when no one was allowed in the stands. And when you're struggling to figure out, like, why is Michigan all that good, this could be the reason potentially, or one of.
Also, I think it's important to make the distinction between sign stealing, which is something that anyone can do, and like it is not, against the rules to watch a TV broadcast. And
he was tipping the pitches, right?
It was the illegal scouting and the electronic videotaping that other coaches say went above and beyond the scope of what is allowed and what is common practice in college football.
Did someone steal this? You're the one who would be accused of stealing anything around here. You'd be the first culprit.
I didn't steal my own $2 bill. I'm looking at someone in particular, and that someone is you. I mean, you're the one in the studio.
You think
with me.
Dan's hard up for $2?
No, but it could be $4,500, maybe $45,000, and so it was just,
probably under your laptop.
No, it was sitting right here. I was trying to mint it out, make it smoother. It could be under the laptop. I'll check it in a second.
I do think it's possible that you lost it or misplaced it or just simply irresponsible, and because you think, and every thief thinks everyone else is a thief, you believe that it was stolen. No one here would steal your $2.
Give me your $2 bill, Dan, and we'll call it even.
That's what I think this is.
Yeah.
That's the end game here.
Yeah. But let me check the serial number first.
Mine has been in the fine bucket, or it's not the fine bucket, it's the piggy bank over there, whatever it is. Mine has already been taken. Certainly your $2 bill is here somewhere.
It's not. Yeah.
Okay, well, at some point you will find it, I am sure.
Check your money. Maybe it's in your pocket.
I found it.
This is ridiculous.
I got a $2 bill, but I'm still investigating. I'm not certain this is the one I started with today. This one has less value.
That's a $10 bill.
Well, no, there's a $2 bill right here, but I think that's the one that was in the fine bucket. Now I have a different one. This is weird. I also have a fortune in my...
You have a fortune from a fortune cookie?
We had Chinese food last night.
Let me see what you got there. Let me see.
Yeah, check it out.
Let me see here.
Some lucky
You had
numbers.
Chinese food last night, so you're wearing the same clothes you were wearing yesterday? Or
No, I put the fortune in the stack of things that I have here because it was a good fortune. It was a good fortune. I hold on to a good fortune. Dan knows it's a good fortune for me. And this is great. And thank you in advance, Dan, before you read it to everyone.
I was going to try and make some joke like you will eat a poisonous Chinese meal and die or something. But what it actually says here is financial hardship in your life is coming to an end.
That's why I kept it.
This is absolutely it's got still the hint of crumbs, of fortune cookie crumbs on it.
And it was right. I found my $2 bill.
Yes, congratulations. Unbelievable. If you want to win some more money here, let's do Against the Spread.
It's Against the Spread, guys.
Yeah.
It's Against the Spread. Do it. You can do the thing.
It's Against the Spread.
It's brought to you.
Sad when you're alone.
It's brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code Dan when you sign up on the app for a limited time offer for new customers. And I have a gigantic announcement regarding our grand prize.
What?
As you know, it's jumbled up at the top. Everyone is doing really well in this except for Dan. Everyone is picking great against the spread. In December, we're going to be doing a big...
That seemed insincere.
What?
That it seemed fake. It doesn't...
What?
All right, let's muster it up. I yawned in the middle.
We're
about to play Against the Spread. All right, we're back.
Here's my big announcement. All right. We're, in December, going to be doing, along with Miller Lite, a big, fun watch party for a football game. Fins Titans. You get to hang out. If you go to MillerLite.com, MillerTimeMiami.com, you get to sign up for a great contest to hang out with us for taping of the show and come to our watch party event. It's going to be great. All right, so make sure to go to MillerTimeMiami.com for your chance for a weekend in Miami with 3 of your friends. Do that now. But at this event, we will give away the grand prize.
Wow.
For the winner of Against the Spread.
Which will not be me because I'm doing very poorly.
You're doing
so far.
very poorly. It won't be you.
What is the prize?
You'll find out together. at our Miller Lite event next month. But make sure to go to MillerTimeMiami.com to sign up for that so you can be there in person when we hand out the grand prize for the winner of Against the Spread.
Can we get to it, please?
I'll start. Miami Heat on the road at the Memphis Grizzlies, -2. Lock it up. I'm not a homer.
It's not called lock it up, though.
What do you mean lock it up? I'm not a homer, lock it up, but you're taking the Heat on the road. The Grizzlies are terrible. The Grizzlies have a $4 ticket price. You can get into a Grizzlies game now, no Ja Morant, for $4.
And the Heat are only -2? That is money in the bank at Against the Spread.
Who's going next?
Who do you want? Yeah, go ahead, Lucy.
I don't want any of this.
Okay, well, my pick's going to be good, so you'll change your mind once you hear it. I'm taking Michigan -4.5 at Penn State. It's a big game. Michigan is very good, and James Franklin not good in big games. So Michigan -4.5
Against the Spread.
Your analysis is pretty consistently James Franklin never wins this game.
Well,
And
name
he never
one.
does.
Right.
I think it's like 0-10 against top 10 teams or top 5 teams. Make it 0-11.
My analysis was money in the bank.
Yes, that's what you did.
In a game called
I'm not
Against
a
the
homer.
Spread.
Yeah. Lock it up.
Money in the bank.
Lock
That's
it
right.
up.
Lock it up. You made it. It is. Jessica, what is your pick and your analysis?
It's the big game of the weekend, the game we're all waiting for. Mike Golick Sr. is on the call. It's Jets-Raiders Sunday Night Football,
boy.
and I'm taking the Raiders.
What?
New vibes, new coach, everything, new quarterback, everything going swimmingly for the Raiders last week. So I'm taking the Raiders +1 against
The Spread.
I saw a headline that just said crap NFL primetime games and pray for Al Michaels. Like that all of the primetime games are that. Why would you wish for anybody to watch that football game, Jessica?
Because it's a football game. And we have Panthers-Bears on Thursday.
Right.
We are blessed beyond measure.
Al's going to be fine. He finds something to be interested in every game.
Also
Gets
the
paid
money.
either way, yeah. Yep. 4-4 versus a 4-5, Dan. 2 teams in the mix. I don't know what you're talking about.
I have a request. Can Billy go before me? Because Billy's really good at this game.
Yeah.
And his pick may affect my pick.
I'm going to take the Jaguars +3 over the 49ers.
Nice.
Against the spread.
Against the Spread.
Efficient, Billy. The most
Why?
efficient you've ever been.
Yeah, I know. I usually love his analysis here.
Because I picked the Jaguars in the bucket of death, and I want to have good juju on my side. So I'm going all in on the Jags this week. Plus, Tony's Tears is going to be debuting at some point this week, and I got a sneak peek. I'm feeling pretty good about this pick.
Chris Cody, I saw
What's up?
Tony was working very hard, Anthony Caladiud, on a list of tiers on where these teams should be ranked according to the tiers. He was working on it for hours, and Billy was very encouraging in a way that made me suspicious.
There was some evil cat going on.
Wanting to bring it on air when I think Billy was listening and being like, this isn't good, it's not good for air, let me put Tony in a losing
Where he says,
position.
that's a good idea, and then he turns around and laughs.
That's correct.
Little
Yeah.
too nice,
Yes.
little too interested. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Support my teammates, not support my
Genuinely
teammates.
support
It
them.
seems like I can't do anything right around these parts.
You're trying to get Tony fired.
Why would I want that? Who would I bully?
Mike, what is your pick?
I liked Billy's pick, so I'm scrambling right now.
Oh.
Was that your
boy.
game?
I'm going to go now with this new information.
Who's playing in the Bundesliga?
Well, I am fading Union Berlin today, if you must know.
Okay.
No. That's not my
Not
official
official?
pick.
Not official?
Not my official pick. My official pick is Saints against the spread. After saying for a full week that I don't want to bet against Josh Dobbs. You never want to bet against Josh Dobbs. You see what I'm doing? I'm feeding the rat poison machine. I'm fading Josh Dobbs this week.
The Saints are dangerous.
The spread. Stugotz,
Lock it up.
You're very close to winning this grand prize too, you know.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, so bring it.
I can't attend that game, though. I mean,
Well, bring it against the spread.
all right, here we go. I love the Bengals. I really do. And I love the Texans and C.J. Stroud. I think the Texans are going to make the playoffs, and I think C.J. Stroud is going to win the NFL MVP.
What?
You heard it here first.
It's not the game we're playing. but-
14 touchdowns, 1 interception. He has ice in his veins. He is great. I am taking the Texans plus 7.5 at Cincinnati.
Plus 6.5.
7.5 where I'm looking.
Plus 7 on DraftKings. Our
Which is where you
sponsor.
should be looking.
Where you're looking.
That's where I'm
Refresh.
looking. Where do you
Refresh the
think I'm
page.
looking?
He
Hold
bought
on,
the
let me-
half point, guys.
Hold on a second. Let me. It is. It's 6.5 plus 6.5. Houston Texans against the spread.
Good try.
I meant to take the Ravens.
Plus 7.
I really want to
-6,
thank our
Brad.
sponsors for
Stu.
all the work they do so that Stugotz could bring that kind of care to his analysis, to his job,
I'm atop the leaderboard.
to his work.
CJ Stroud MVP, though, duh.
Yep.
How about
Yeah.
that?
Thank you.
Just
You're gonna want this grand
A
prize.
different game.
a totally different game. Just snuck in a take. You guys, you guys should do like
It's
against
analysis.
the grain or against something to
that's-
help Stugotz do a different. He did a different
Against
show.
the Grain is the Dan Patrick Show.
He wanted to give you his CJ Stroud opinion.
I got to be honest. I wanted the Ravens over the Browns. I got stuck on the Bengals and the Texans. The thing wasn't working on my computer, and so I had to just run with it, and that's what I did.
The DraftKings app on your desktop
What
works
can I
great,
do?
Stugotz.
Yeah, I
I
know.
don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's the computer. That's it.
Dan, you suck at this game. What's your pick?
I'm not. I mean, I'm
What,
not doing.
you
it.
should
because
take
have
the
no shot at
Ravens.
the prize.
I am thinking about taking a sabbatical, like right now.
Against the spread.
What's the line?
Who do you have winning
This should be
MVP?
against my wishes.
These perform very well. Everyone likes to tail our picks. I mean, we're picking at like a 90% clip or something like that. It's
Get outta
ridiculous.
Listen to how the games are picked here. Billy's like, well, I took it from the bucket of death.
Yeah.
Stugotz is like, I don't know the spread, but let me give you a CJ Stroud take.
MVP.
Don't knock his process. He's very close to the top.
I feel like
Thank
mine was
you.
pretty spot on.
Yep.
Same.
Yours was lock it in.
Lock it up.
I'm not
Lock
a.
it up,
I'm
that's a
not.
fine.
Money in the bank. lock
I'm
it
not
up.
I'm not a homer.
Fine,
I'm not a homer. The Miami Heat are -2. I'm picking them at Memphis.
Makes
I
sense.
also
Makes
credited
sense.
Tony's tears for my pick, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know why DraftKings gives us any money.
Because you can't get analysis like James Franklin is bad at big games anywhere else.
Certainly, that's not going to be the best of the analysis from 6 different analysts. Like, certainly, that's not the best you're going to get anywhere else.
I thought it was pretty dang good.
It's good.